Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive.
Great to be back.
We are pushing on with our journey through the quite extraordinary Book of Enoch.
Definitely extraordinary.
And this time, we're really diving into one Enoch, the Book of Dream Visions, specifically using the retelling by Erik Jansen.
A fantastic resource for grappling with this text.
Absolutely. If you caught our first couple of deep dives on Enoch, you'll know this ancient text is just packed with fascinating, sometimes really strange material.
Uh-huh.
So today, we're zeroing in on these dream visions. Our plan is to try and unpack these powerful allegories, these symbolic stories.
Yeah, get under the surface a bit.
Exactly. Try and uncover the layers of meaning in these dreams. And just as a reminder, this is our third deep dive out of 8 planned for Jansen's retelling.
Right. And as we've, touched on before, the Book of Enoch, it's just massive for understanding early Jewish and Christian thought. Immense.
No question.
And this Book of Dream Visions is, well, it's a real cornerstone of that. It gives us these incredible symbolic narratives.
So the aim today isn't just to, list what happens in the dreams.
No, much more than that. We want to really explore the core themes. You've got divine judgment clashing with this persistent hope for redemption. That's what we're digging into.
Okay, great. Let's jump right in then. First big vision, the flood. Jansen's description of how Enoch's dream starts is so vivid.
It really is.
He sets the scene, right? Stillness of night, this temple made of simple, unhewn stone.
Yeah, almost primal.
And the air is thick with cedar wood and incense smells. Enoch himself is there, a righteous priest. What jumps out at you about that opening?
Well, it's the contrast, isn't it? You have this purity and simplicity in the setting.
Yeah.
And then this immense destruction is about to be revealed. That unhewn stone, maybe it symbolizes that direct, untainted connection to the divine.
Like Enoch himself.
Exactly. Uncorrupted. And the smells, the incense, it makes it feel sacred. Like this space is about to witness something huge, cosmically significant.
And then, bam, the vision hits. This overwhelming flood. Jansen calls it a divine cleansing, but it's way more than just rain, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking mountains literally melting, oceans surging, stars falling out of the sky. It's like the whole world coming undone.
That sheer scale, what's the message there?
It just hammers home the gravity of the sin, doesn't it? The level of transgression that's happening.
Both human and celestial.
Right. The melting mountains, the falling stars, obviously not literal physics, but powerful symbols. They show the cosmic fallout of sin from humans and from those watchers we discussed before. Creation itself is recoiling from this corruption.
And in the middle of all this terror, an angel shows up, gives Enoch the lowdown. What are the key reasons given for this cataclysm?
So the angel basically says, look, this is happening because of widespread human wickedness and, crucially, the rebellion of the watchers.
Those angels who stepped way out of line.
Precisely. And the angel also points to the Nephilim, those monstrous giant offspring for the watchers and human women, as another source of defilement. It's a judgment with several causes layered together.
But it's not all darkness, is it? There's a glimmer. Enoch sees Noah praying. Why is that single image so important here?
Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the crucial counterpoint. It shows that even in a world drowning in corruption, righteousness still exists.
Noah's still faithful.
Exactly. Noah's devotion shows the divine favor isn't totally gone. It sets up the idea that, okay, maybe not everything will be wiped out. And then you see the ark.
Right, this simple boat just floating on these, chaotic waters.
And Jansen really highlights that the ark is more than just, a survival vessel. It carries huge symbolic weight.
What kind of weight?
It becomes this potent symbol of hope, doesn't it? And divine preservation. It represents God's promise to save that righteous remnant.
A promise that even when everything seems lost, there's a chance for a new beginning.
Yes, through faithfulness. And why do you think that image resonates so much? The vessel in the storm. You see it everywhere.
Well, it taps into that deep human need for safety, I guess, for continuity. The idea that even when it all falls apart, renewal is possible.
That's a good way to put it. And that renewal comes specifically through Noah and his family, a new creation rising from the wreckage of the old.
So the flood isn't just an endpoint.
No, it's transformative. Noah's survival means creation can be reset, hopefully on a foundation of righteousness this time. It's judgment paving the way for a fresh start.
And the vision wraps up with the rainbow. Such a common symbol, but here, after that flood, what's the deeper meaning?
Well, it's not just a pretty weather effect, right? It's presented as a divine covenant, a promise.
Mercy after judgment.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how this symbol of peace immediately follows such immense destruction. It captures that tension you see in a lot of ancient texts. How can a just God also be merciful? The covenant becomes the framework for that ongoing relationship.
Okay, so after that huge world-altering vision, Enoch has another dream. And Jansen calls this one even stranger and wilder, the animal vision.
Yeah, that definitely grabs your attention.
Stranger than the flood. Okay.
And the symbolism shifts dramatically. We go from, water and falling stars to this complex allegory using animals.
From representing people.
And angels.
Exactly. Humanity, celestial beings, the whole sweep of history. And the setting changes too. Now it's a huge plane, but it's like pulsing, alive. What do you think that signifies?
A living stage, maybe, representing Earth or existence itself, always changing, always active.
Could be. Oh. It suggests a dynamic backdrop for this historical drama, and it kicks off with these two really striking figures. Large, radiant white bulls.
Adam and Eve.
That's the interpretation, yeah. Representing Adam and Eve in Eden, in that state of innocence. Their whiteness is key, purity, unblemished connection to God before the fall.
Then, naturally, the serpent enters the picture. Temptation, forbidden fruit. How does the animal allegory show this? The consequence is shown as a change in the plane itself. The vibrant colors fade.
The world is diminished.
Right. And new animals start appearing, the descendants of those first bulls. It mirrors human history unfolding after the expulsion from the garden. It visually links the fall to the state of the world.
And pretty quickly we see conflict. A red bull appears, Cain, presumably.
That's the idea.
And it kills another bull, Abel. Stark imagery, the red color, violence.
Absolutely. Vividly symbolizing bloodshed, the first murder. It highlights how quickly the consequences of the fall spiral into violence and death entering the world.
And as the vision goes on, more bulls and cows appear, but their coats get darker and darker. What's that telling us about humanity's path?
The darkening coats track humanity's drift, doesn't it? The slide into sin, moral decay. Generation by generation, that initial purity fades, replaced by pride, greed, lust. It visually represents that growing distance from the Holy One.
And then comes maybe the weirdest part. Stars falling from the sky and mingling with the daughters of the bulls.
Yeah, pretty strange imagery.
This has to be the Watchers again, right? Allegorically.
Precisely. The fallen stars are the Watchers. Their fall represents their rebellion, crossing divine lines. And their mingling with the bull's daughters, human women, symbolizes those forbidden unions.
The ones that corrupted everything.
Yes, described as an abomination to stress how unnatural and deeply sinful it was, corrupting both heaven and earth.
And the result, the Nephilim, these monstrous giants. Jansen points out how destructive they were. What do they stand for in the allegory?
As the offspring of that forbidden mix, they represent sin amplified, the widespread violence, the corruption that just consumed the earth. They symbolize the breaking of order, the terrible impact of disobedience.
And the angel steps in again to interpret this whole animal vision. What's the main takeaway from all this animal symbolism?
The angel explains it's basically world history in code, from creation to the end times. The animals, initially good creations, become symbols representing the actions, the deeds, the fates of humans and fallen angels, all leading toward judgment.
There's also that grim detail of the Nephilim destroying each other.
Yeah, that shows the self-destructive nature of evil, doesn't it? Even these powerful monsters are consumed by their own violence. Evil ultimately eats itself.
But it's not all dark. Amidst all this, white lambs appear. Who are they?
The white lambs are the righteous line, descendants of Adam who stay faithful despite all the wickedness around them.
Like Noah.
Exactly. And importantly, one lamb is specifically shown to resemble Noah, reinforcing his role as that beacon of faithfulness in a dark time.
And Enoch is told, again, write this down, why the emphasis on recording it?
It underlines the vision's importance, right? It's positioned as both a record of the past, God's perspective on history, and a prophecy for the future. It preserves this knowledge as a warning, but also as guidance.
Okay, so the animal vision continues, and now the focus stays on those white lambs, Noah's descendants, Israel trying to follow God, but, well, often stumbling.
Yeah, it reflects that ongoing struggle, doesn't it? The human tendency to stray, even after divine help or rescue. It mirrors those cycles of faithfulness and falling away you see throughout Israel's story.
Then comes a major figure, the great ram, leading his flock to the promised land, a powerful image of leadership.
Definitely. That great ram is generally seen as Abraham.
Ah, okay.
His faith leads his people, establishing that covenant relationship. It's a foundational moment in the allegory.
But the lambs still face trouble. Wolves and lions attack them. What are these predators?
They represent the big, oppressive empires that threatened and enslaved Israel historically. Think Egypt, Assyria, Babylon. It's a vivid way to show the persecution God's people face from external powers.
But the problems weren't just external, were they? The vision shows blind, corrupt shepherds, false prophets.
Right, leading the flock astray from within. These symbolize bad leadership, false teachings within Israel itself, people pulling the community away from God towards danger. It highlights internal challenges, too.
Yet even with these problems, figures like Moses emerge another white ram, leading them out of slavery. Later, David, Solomon. But the flock still keeps straying. It's this constant pattern. Rescue, then backsliding.
That cycle seems really central. It underscores that tension, doesn't it? Between humanity's potential for good and its pull towards sin. Even strong leaders and miracles don't completely fix it. The struggle is ongoing.
Then there's that really disturbing image, a tower made of bones and blood. What on earth does that represent?
Grim, isn't it? It serves as this stark symbol of, like, the accumulated cost of sin, all the disobedience, violence, rebellion throughout history piled up. A visual representation of spiritual death and destruction caused by turning away from God.
And the vision shows the lambs still being devoured by different predators representing successive kingdoms.
Yeah, lions, bears, leopards. It emphasizes the transient, often destructive nature of earthly empires.
And the vulnerability of the faithful.
Exactly. It suggests earthly power is temporary, unlike God's eternal kingdom.
But then, a major shift. A radiant white bull appears, way more magnificent than anything before. This has to be the Messiah figure, right?
Absolutely. This is the climax building. Its unparalleled brilliance, its purity. It signals the arrival of the ultimate deliverer, the chosen one.
Come to bring God's kingdom and cleanse the earth.
Yes, this is the ultimate hope offered in the vision. God's final intervention to redeem creation, bring in that era of perfect righteousness and peace, the answer to all the suffering and straying.
And then you see all the animals, even the predators, bowing down to this white bull. What's that about?
That universal bow signifies the end of all conflict, the restoration of harmony, all creation submitting to the just, peaceful rule of the Messiah, ultimate reconciliation.
And that leads into the vision of the New Jerusalem, a city of crystal and gold open to the righteous.
This represents the final destination for the faithful, doesn't it? A realm of perfect purity, glory, eternal joy, the fulfillment of God's promises.
And the faithful lambs, they enter the city healed, radiant, a beautiful picture of redemption.
It signifies their complete restoration, their glorification after all the trials. Their radiance reflects that spiritual transformation, inheriting eternal life.
But there's also judgment. The fallen stars, the bad shepherds cast into a sea of fire.
Right, the final reckoning. It represents the ultimate just punishment for rebellion and leading others astray.
Yeah.
Good finally triumphs definitively over evil.
And the angel confirms it. God's kingdom is righteous and eternal.
The ultimate affirmation. It confirms the everlasting nature of God's rule, the victory of his plan. That's the bedrock of hope for the faithful.
So the final image is this cleansed earth, the New Jerusalem shining, righteous people from all nations living in joy. It's a powerful resolution.
It really is. A picture of total renewal, peace, harmony, righteousness finally prevailing. People from everywhere united with God. Hope fulfilled.
And again, the command. Write it down. Preserve this hope.
Exactly. It's meant to be a testament to God's promises, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there's this incredible future hope rooted in divine justice and redemption.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Book of Dream Visions, drawing on Jansen's retelling, what are the big takeaways for you?
Well, these visions powerfully explore divine judgment, showing real consequences for sin, both human and angelic. But intertwined with that is this incredibly resilient hope.
Stemming from that faithful lineage.
Right, from Noah through the struggling lambs and ultimately pointing towards this messianic figure and a completely renewed creation, judgment and hope hand in hand.
And that use of allegory, the whole animal symbolism, it's such a potent way to get these complex ideas across, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The animal imagery allows for so many layers of meaning. It makes these ancient theological and historical concepts really vivid, memorable even. It invites you to think about history and God's plan in a totally unique way.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you think about how relevant these ancient ideas still are, you know? Justice, redemption, that enduring human need for hope.
For sure. Those core themes, accountability, the chance for renewal, longing for a better future, they don't really age, do they? They push us, even now, to reflect on our own part in that bigger story.
Definitely leaves you wanting to ponder the symbolism and the messages in these dream visions a bit more personally. Well, that brings us to the end of this part of our journey.
Looking forward to the next one.
Join us next time as we continue our deep dive into the rich and still quite enigmatic Book of Enoch.